Side Los Angeles. Hello, I'm Sharon Dunas, president of NAMI West Side Los Angeles. We are a NAMI affiliate serving the public, letting people know, educating people at a very high level, letting them know that mental illnesses are real. They're here to stay, but recovery happens. Recovery happens in so many cases today. So we're an organization that fight stigma through promoting recovery and education. So we welcome you to our NAMI meeting, and I'm going to introduce you to our executive director, Aaron Raftery, before I introduce you to our speaker tonight. So Aaron, let's hear about the campaign that we have called Free Youre Me for the state of California. Can you tell everyone? This is pretty exciting.
Thank you so much, Sharon, for that introduction. And yes, we're really excited to report that we've been working on a campaign for several years, and now it's been adopted by NAMI California. It's an anti-stigma campaign called Free Youre Me. And there's certain levels or components of that. One is a social influencer component, where it's a black and white photography campaign. And we've been photographing noteworthy, respectable people within their field, athletes, actors, musicians, artists, authors, and they are doing an impactful scream. They're making some noise about mental health. And it's really quite fantastic. And so the other component is the student engagement component, where we're inviting students to free their me, to share what inspires them, what makes them happy, what makes them sad, sharing moments of positive coping strategies, or where they have felt most vulnerable, to free their me, to share the me that people don't see, because we all have that me inside of us. And it's really important that we do share it, that we do free it, and that we get the help and support that we need. So tomorrow we'll be sharing it with every NAMI on Campus club across the state of California, and inviting all the students to participate. So it's very exciting, and thank you, Sharon, for prompting and letting me share that with everyone.
And to make it safe for individuals to talk about their brain issues, their mental illness or brain disorders, to make a place where you can be safe and be vulnerable and tell the truth about yourself without shame, without guilt, just really sharing your intimate self. So thank you for this program, Aaron. I think it's going to wake up a lot of Californians that it's okay to be real and authentic about issues with your brain. Thank you so much. So my name is Sharon Dunas. I'm president of NAMI West Side Los Angeles. And tonight is our Janis Black Warner Speaker Series. Our first in the series. We go September through June with the Speaker Series, and we named it Janis Black Warner. I think she's in the meeting. She's the pretty brunette there with her hair pulled back. Just raise your hand so we can see you. And she has donated so much money to the workings of NAMI Westside LA. And because she's such a wonderful human being herself with a lot of knowledge about recovering from mental illness, we have named our speaker series the Janis Black Warner Speaker Series. And so without further ado, I want to invite you to hear our chosen speaker for tonight. Can we see Waguih? Do we see him yet? Can we see him? I don't see him here. I don't think he's back, is he?
I'm right here.
Oh, okay. So I want to introduce, this is Dr. Waguih IsHak, a clinical chief of psychiatry and professor at Cedars-Sinai's Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Neurosciences. He's also a clinical professor of psychiatry at the David Geffen School of Medicine at UCLA. So he's very connected and on board with Cedars-Sinai Hospital and UCLA. And he is the editor and author of a handbook, the Handbook of Wellness Medicine. So he's going to talk to us tonight, how to develop your own personalized wellness plan after what we've all been through with the pandemic and the tragedies from climate change that have occurred. And this applies to those of us who uh, function in a consistently way, and those of us who are sometimes emotionally dysregulated. It's for all of us. So I invite you, Dr. IsHak, to take over the meeting and speak to us tonight. And I think people will come in as you're talking. So
Wonderful.
welcome.
Thank you so much, Sharon. This is like what an honor to be here, and I hope you can hear me clearly. I'm going to start sharing my slides. So we're going to actually go through a whole process that culminates into developing a personalized wellness plan for each of us. So I'm going to get started
And
by...
before you get started, can I just say that Dr. IsHak has been part of a depression study at Cedars-Sinai Hospital for 2 or 3 years, studying individuals with heart conditions who are depressed and whether they benefit the most from just the medicine or medicine along with psychotherapy that encourages them to do positive changes in their life. So he's created an incredible PCORI study, and the outcomes should be very interesting for all of us. So I give you Dr. IsHak.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sharon. So I think the first piece that we're going to talk about is related to how does one kind of create the set of interventions to boost one's wellness. So the kind of the equation is very simple. Like first, one has to ask ourselves whether you're dealing with medical or mental illness is, am I taking better care of myself? And I'll detail that with you in a little bit. Am I organizing myself and managing my to-do in such a busy world now? There's like so many tasks that need to get done that becomes really overwhelming. And then the third step, how much am I doing to build my support system of people kind of who get me, who understand, you know, my issues and my future direction and my past background. And the step 4 has to do with kind of like, am I able to change my thinking and reaction, or I'm just like kind of overreacting to every single thing that comes my way? And then it all culminates into this magic word that is easier said than done, called balance. How does one really balance all of this? So if you think about it, you know, you'll see that we're all can do a lot of self-improvement strategies, but if you have way too much to do as a parent or as a student or as a worker, there's no doubt that there will be balls that are going to fall on the ground. No matter how astute you are in taking great care of yourself, if you have way more than you can handle, there's no doubt that you know the stuff is going to fall through the cracks. So I think we need to develop an acceptance at the outset that whatever I'm going to tell you today about self-improvement is limited by the fact of what one has on their plate. So in the sense of taking good care of myself, I got constantly asked myself, how am I taking good care of myself? Am I doing the regular exercise? Am I getting the nutrition I'm supposed to get? Am I getting adequate sleep? Do I have good health habits? More importantly, do I have structured relaxation? Or does relaxation sits at the bottom of my list? It doesn't never takes a priority. Having fun never takes a priority. And as we advance in age, it becomes even more of a problem, because when we are younger, we know how to have fun because we don't need to plan it. It just happens. But as we advance in age and carry more responsibilities, then we almost have an obligation to structure those times. And do I really believe deep down that life is all about really having a good time and helping others? Or am I thinking that life is all about some rat race where I'm just going to get through that, and then, oops, yeah, it's kind of like late in the game now to do anything? So that's what the French call the joie de vivre, is the joy of living. It's almost like a mindset that one has to think that life, is not, I mean, sure that suffering is the rite of passage. However, that one has to have a commitment to make the best out of every moment. So when people talk a lot about wellness, they talk about all kinds of dimensions that boost wellness. Talking about physical, environmental, intellectual. Sometimes we worry too much about money and finances, or worry too much about like our social relationships. So wellness kind of encompasses all of this, and I'm going to try to kind of put it together for you in a model that we could use, because a lot of people kind of equate wellness with good eating or nutritious food. A lot of people equate wellness with, rigorous exercise. A lot of people equate wellness with meditation and saying no. A lot of people equate wellness with just relaxing, leave it all behind you. Or some of the models of wellness focus primarily on sleep or the spa. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's where you really get to relax. Or essential oils. That's all where wellness is. Just get some essential oils and you'll be fine. Or setting up some life goals, like where's my life going? It's passing me by. Well, some people equate wellness too with like nature. Just get out to nature. That's all you need. All your trouble is going to be relieved if you get to nature. Especially my favorite, the beach. Or you can mix the beach with some exercise. Now you're getting 2 for 1, getting more buck for your bang. You can try meditating on that surfboard, or some yoga, positional yoga. Maybe that would help. Oh no, forget all of this. There's nothing makes me happy like my dog. All my wellness revolve around pets. So we actually did a catalog of all the wellness interventions and put them through this list. And you can read through the list. I'm not going to bore you with it, but it has nutrition, it has gratitude, it has using the 5 senses, it has herbs, it has humor, it has music, it has developing meaning in life, resilience, compassion. So how does one take all of this and make it into something a little bit more personalized? Because what's going to work for you is probably not going to work for me. In fact, I have a lot more people who say, listen, this meditation is not for me. And I say, why? Is it, I say, I gotta close my eyes, I get more anxious. I thought this is supposed to help me feel less anxious. So I say, we owe it to ourselves to try things once. If it doesn't work for you, it's not meant to be. We got to look for something else. So my job today is to help you develop this personalized plan. How? Well, there's been a lot of models that talk about this intentional living, that you just go, don't go through life however the cards are dealt to you. You take those cards, but you try to also influence your destiny in a way. It's not 100% successful, but that commitment to intentional living can open up a lot of doors. And there's always the promise of happiness, which is we're all in pursuit of that happiness. So here's the model that I'm going to present to you, and we're going to go over it piece by piece. There's 8 dimensions to wellness. One is physical. Let me pick an example for you. Going to the doctor for an annual exam, making sure that nothing is going to come out at me when I'm not prepared, or exercise on a regular basis. These are examples of physical. What about emotional? So as much as we're doing the physical gym and going to the gym and going to promote our physical wellness, we also have a need to go to almost to the emotional gym, or to the psych gym, if you will. Like we need to have things that we're doing that boost our emotional wellness. And meditation would be an example of that. Laughing in good company would be another example of that. Not waiting until my insomnia run me over with total fatigue and inability to function before I start to deal with it with medicine or some cognitive therapy for insomnia. Next is social. So am I living totally in a vacuum by myself, or is my social relationships important? In fact, the Harvard study that spent about 70 years, in fact, JFK was one of the subjects in this study. This is a study that followed Harvard, people got admitted to Harvard all the way until they retired, and also had people who lived in the inner city and urban areas, and looked at, after all these years, what was the main source of wellness. And people continue to say that it's meaningful relationships, is family, meaningful, friends that really boosted their sense of well-being. Then we have a spiritual dimension, and then spiritual here, as you very well know, doesn't equate to religion, but it equates to kind of an understanding to do something beyond me. Even if it doesn't involve saying a grace before meals, it could be going to an annual retreat to boost my wellness. And then intellectual. Now I gotta feed my brain too. It's not enough that I'm feeding my emotions and my body and my social relationships. Gotta feed my intellect. And that comes in with reading or discussions or book clubs. And then finances. Who doesn't worry about finances? So a lot of what goes on in financial wellness is kind of neutralize the stress that comes out of money. All the stuff that you hear about getting out of debt or managing your budget. A lot of the stuff that is talked about with budgeting is not very practical for individual. It's maybe practical for an institution, for a business, might not be practical for a person. There might be tips that I could do to worry less about money. And then occupational. Usually people's jobs become like a major source of their stress. So what can I do on the job that can actually boost my wellness? Maybe I can give to others. Maybe I can mentor junior employees. It doesn't have to always be about me and what am I taking out of this, but it could be also part of giving. And then last but not least is environmental. Environmental wellness revolves around looking at my environment and really doing the things that are good by the environment that can boost my wellness, like cutting down on waste, cutting down on clutter. Modern life brings tons of clutter in our lives. Look at our desks, our homes, our drawers. You wouldn't even want to start thinking about that, because it's almost like feels a little hopeless to have to take a whole day to organize it. So I'm going to invite you now to start thinking about me, and I would love for you to start writing down. We're going to go piece by piece here. As I mentioned to you some examples. The idea here is I have to pick an activity that works for me, not the activity that is evidence-based. All of this is evidence-based. But I don't want you to be following some cookbook. I want you to pick an activity on the physical side that you could do daily, and another one that you could do weekly, and another one that you could do monthly, and another one that you could do yearly. And so an activity that I could do daily, just to kind of give you a simple example, I want you to pick your own example. But something I could do daily is maybe I could walk for 15 minutes, move my body for 15 minutes. Maybe I could boost my steps on my iPhone from like 550 to maybe 3,500. That would be a huge improvement, and it's shown to work. What about weekly? Maybe weekly I could go to the gym. I don't know what you are interested in. But monthly also is I got to take my medicines. I got to take my vitamins. I got to see my doctor if I have to. I got to do an annual checkup. So let me show you a bit of a sample of what I picked. And I'm going to invite you to pick your own as we go along. So here are examples that things I could do daily. I could walk 30 minutes. I could eat low carbs. I could drink plenty of water. I don't have to do the three of them. Could do 1, 2, or 3, or ones of your own choice. What about weekly? Maybe I could shop for fresh and wholesome food. Maybe I could stop, eating leftovers and things that have been in the fridge for 4th and 5th day. That can't be good for me. Maybe once a week I could monitor my weight, or I can make sure that I take my medications. So I don't have to be faced with this whole issue of like, you take your medicine, taking my medicine, my neglecting my health. And think about yearly is taking like maybe doing a physical checkup. So these are just examples. So let's start thinking about the emotional side. What can I do on a daily basis that can boost my emotional side? And it could be an overlap with social too. Some people love to talk to a friend on a daily basis. Some people love to do yoga or meditation. I want you to pick what boosts your emotional wellness that you could do on a daily basis. And by the way, when I say daily, this is not like going to be like super strict, like if you don't get this done, oh, it's a disaster. No, one has to start kind of with a bit of an ambitious plan and then bring it down into something more like realistic. What can I do emotionally? Maybe I could, on a weekly basis, watch a show that talks about stress management. Maybe I could go to therapy. What about once a month? Maybe once a month, I could think about something that is a little bit more involved, like maybe a group therapy session, or maybe reading a book on self-improvement. Yearly, it can go the same way. So let me show you some examples that I picked. So I'd like to meditate daily, even if I do, the minimum really you could do is 5 minutes. And I'm going to show you an app in a little bit called Oak. I'm going to do an exercise together, meditation exercise together using this app that I'm hope you're going to like. It's very simple. Not too many clicks to button, not too many buttons to click, pretty straightforward. What people do weekly, actually there's research that is very strongly behind this whole issue about writing 8 things I'm grateful for on a weekly basis. You can pick the day you want to do this. Typically, people pick Sunday evening, when things are winding down. Let me see what I'm grateful for. They write 8 things. On a monthly basis, maybe learn or practice 1 stress management skills. Maybe deep muscle relaxation or deep breathing or something like that. Maybe on a yearly basis, I can take a vacation, not a short one, not a long weekend, but maybe like a whole week or 10 days away from everything. I want you to start thinking about social things that you can do daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly. Daily, what can I do daily? You know how people like they eat while they're doing other things, they just continue to multitask or do multiple things. Maybe I can just take some time to have a meal with a good friend, or maybe have a phone call with somebody that I like or trust, or maybe a weekly phone call with friends that I haven't seen for a long time, or parents. What about monthly? Maybe a get together, maybe a dinner party. It doesn't have to be anything lavish, but regular. First Thursday of the month, have a dinner party. What about yearly? Well, the people's birthdays come all the time. Instead of just texting them, maybe I could call them or maybe FaceTime them. And this is something I've been personally working on. It's very hard, much easier to text up, happy birthday. Yeah, tons of hearts and cakes and presents. Gets done in less than a minute versus a phone call that like, oh yeah. And then it's a lot of sharing and how are you doing? So now I gotta like share a lot more than I should or want to. But I tell you, there's something about it that is definitely very unique and helpful, and totally encourage you to do that. So these are a few examples I picked. Meal with an intimate partner or family. Make a commitment to that. Don't be missing these like opportunities, Lunch with a friend once a week. That would be awesome, before the weekend. Maybe on the weekend, once a month, get together with family or people that I trust. And then call a friend on a birthday. That would be like really cool, or FaceTime. All right, let's start thinking about spiritual. What can I do spiritual? Spiritual, say gratitude, not necessarily a full prayer. Maybe go to services once a week if I'm inclined to do that. I really would love retreats. I love retreats. I'd like to go to a retreat once a month or once a year. Let me show you some examples. Say grace before meals. Count my blessings once a week. Go to service, not every single week, but maybe a couple of times. Maybe read something that is inspirational and spiritual, something just beyond me and the concrete understanding of life. Maybe attending a retreat. What about an intellectual? I don't know how many of you read every day. Hard to read every day. Believe it or not, most people, especially in the medical profession, they read in the bathroom. They have like all their like medical journals and People magazine and Us Weekly and all of that in the bathroom. That's what most people read. I like to read before bed. I think that's a good thing. Maybe watch a TED Talk weekly. There's tons of great TED Talks. They're only 18 minutes. It's not very long. Maybe attend an event or a lecture or a book club. Maybe I could read a bestseller. Once a year, got like a couple of those. I think I would be very proud of myself if I'm able to do that. Let's think about financial. What can I do financial that is very personalized to me? Everybody tells you save, save, save. Well, maybe I could cut down on wasteful spending. Like how you like go and just like buy these things that don't work and never return them, or like go and like never really and just like spend money for spending money's sake, nothing like really of value. And remember, there's an equation for value, right? Value is quality divided by price. So in order for you to get high value, it has to be high quality and low price. Kind of hard equation to meet in real life, but I would love to find these things of value, like things of high quality, not this waste. Maybe meet with a financial counselor or financial planner once a year, just kind of put me on track. That's money well spent in somebody that was gonna take an independent look at my finances and look at giving me some good advice. Here are some examples of things that I was thinking about. Cut on wasteful spending. Review where my money is going. You know what we've been using for the last 10 years, believe it or not? Mint.com. And there's so many other services online like that where you hook up your credit card or bank account. You know exactly how much money you're spending and why. I have to tell you, it's very depressing, because I think it's like you would rather not know, but when you know, I think it provides a bit of a conscious feel when you're spending, and it doesn't make you frugal or wasteful. I think it gives you a little bit of a realistic sense of what you need out of money. Maybe you need to pay yourself, not necessarily save, but if you get a paycheck, or if you get like any paycheck of some sort, gift check, something, don't spend it all. Like maybe pay yourself 10, 5%, 1% if you want to be super realistic. You know what people do also? They subscribe. You're living in the era of subscriptions. Everything is by subscriptions now. Hulu, Netflix, wasteful services. Maybe you need to kind of like make sure that you're looking to unsubscribe of services that you're not using. That would be one thing that would be helpful. What can I do on the job? Let's think together here. Something I could do daily if I have this job that I could be helpful. Like maybe on the job is say hello to people when they approach me. You'd be shocked about how many colleagues don't even get to say hello to each other. They think it's implied. We're in the same physical space. We work for the same employer. So the hello is implied. It did actually happen by default. No, it didn't. I think there needs to make some effort, acknowledge and greet my colleagues. Maybe I could mentor other people. Maybe I could advocate for ways to improve the quality of life of myself and my colleagues, or promote some idea that can actually be of help. And then let's look at some examples of environmental. What can you do environmentally that you like that can boost your own wellness. Um, I personally like flowers and roses, and I think they're beautiful. Plants are beautiful. I wish I have more of a chance to water my plants, um, or plant my own vegetables or fruits. One thing you can do about your environment, you can cut down on waste and clutter. Maybe you can take a walk in the inner or beach, like the environment. Like we need to actually, believe it or not, take time out to organize our space. People don't, and they do. They put everything in some drawer. You open these drawers, and it's like shock. It's like, what happened here? I could organize the drawer one day, where everything was put out of sight. Maybe I could think about planting a tree once a year. That would boost the environment. So I walked you through some examples. You could see the whole table now. This is just examples. You can pick anything and everything you think would work for you. That's the whole idea of personalizing it. But whatever you do, make sure that you got something physical, emotional, social, spiritual, intellectual, financial, occupational, or environmental that you could do. Something you could do on a daily basis, some on a weekly basis, some monthly, and some yearly. Now, how do you actually do that? One, you set the plan. Two, you schedule it on daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, like I mentioned. Then you get support for the plan. Don't be doing these plans by yourself. They never work that way. Enlist people who are meaningful to you in supporting you and helping you promote a plan like that, and then track it. See what works, what doesn't work. What are the kinds of things that don't work for you? And measure it. See like what is actually boosting your wellness and do more of that. And what's like becoming an agonizing chore, take it off your plan. And so a lot of what we do in planning for wellness has to do with developing these little habits. In fact, there is an app that tracks that. This app has been chosen to be the app of the year. I have no, financial interest or any other interest in it other than being like an enthusiastic user. It's called Fabulous. You can download it on your iPhone or Droid, and it actually looks like this. You can pick the habits that you like and add to your schedule, and it reminds you in the morning of your morning habits. You can add afternoon and evening, but this is an example of what I have on my own habits. Brush my teeth, stretch. I'm not doing a very good job at stretching. Definitely make my own bed. Write a little bit in my gratitude journal. In my fabulous circle, I find out on Facebook whose birthday it is today. And I'm embarrassed to tell you, I'm still texting them or writing them a Facebook message. My goal is to actually call them. And then I write my to-do list. I think about what are the 3 most important things I got to do. What's one big thing I'm trying to accomplish today? That would be helpful. And then do some meditation and then face the day. And there's more habits to that, but Fabulous will help you keep track of them. And then there is a nice application for gratitude called the 5-minute journal. You could either use the app or you could just write those 5 questions in your notes section on your smartphone or by hand. Some people, instead of doing 8 things they're grateful for once a week, they do a daily 5-minute journal. In the morning, they say, I'm grateful for 1, 2, 3, health, family, being able to see and hear. What would make today great? Maybe if I can do this and that and the other, be more forgiving, maybe more productive. And then do daily affirmation. I'm a good person. I'm a wonderful person. I'm a kind person. I'm a giving person. And then right before you go to sleep, you look at your 5-minute journal and you say, here are the amazing things that happened today. What if my day was lousy and terrible? No amazing things happened. Remember, this is about looking at the cup half full, not half empty. You gotta find some amazing thing that happened. The weather was great, I'm so glad that I'm not like drowning under the heavy rain, something like that. How could I have made it even better? What could I have done more or less to make my day better? That would be my 5-minute journal. And then, like I say in the habits, I'm just walking you through it. And let me just skip this. One thing that we all have things that we have to do. We tend to carry these to-do lists, or more commonly, all these emails, or you send an email to yourself and you keep your tasks there. Not a very good idea. In fact, the most successful idea is your to-do list on your calendar. Try that. Try to put on your calendar an hour to work on this, or half an hour to talk to this person, or 15 minutes to meditate on the schedule. So this way you ensure that it gets done. If it doesn't get done, it gets moved to the following day. And I want you also to know that in terms of like productivity, you have all this pressure that we gotta get things done, gotta get things like moving. In reality, you're gonna have 3 types of days. One is focus days when you're very productive and getting things done. Others are buffer days. You're just moving papers, just making calls, signing things, doing little tasks. And then you have your free days. Try to separate your days like that. And even you could do them in half days. That's my half day to focus on a new idea or a new project. That's my buffer day. I gotta pay the electricity bill. I gotta take the car to the car wash. These are buffer days. I can't help it, or buffer half days. My free days are sacred. I gotta respect my free days. Gotta totally enjoy my free days. Not do laundry, not clean the house, not take the car to service, but enjoy my free day. Walk on the beach, do the things that make me happy and boost my morale. Now we're gonna go to the meditation. So I'm gonna actually play the Oak app for you on my phone. And we're going to actually practice it here together. And I hope that you're gonna find it helpful like I do. So this is gonna be only a 5-minute exercise. So it's not gonna be anything that is long. And I want you to get into it a little bit more. I'm gonna keep my volume up. And we're gonna do a loving kindness meditation. So in loving kindness meditation, you basically wish yourself well, and then you start to move to a person or a couple of people, and then kind of expand it to the world. And the theme is about wishing yourself to be happy, to be healthy, and to be at peace, and the same thing for others. Let me show you actually how the app looks first. And it's called Oak, and you can download it on your phone. Let me just play it.
You can begin by taking a seat and getting comfortable. And when you're ready, just close your eyes. Now go ahead and shift your attention down to your heart. A great way to sense this, or to feel it, is to place one or both of your hands directly over your heart. As you're focusing on the heart, now is a great time to send feelings of gratitude toward it, thanking it for all the years of effort and hard work it's done. Part of this practice is to express love inward towards ourselves. Do this. You're going to repeat 3 phrases over and over silently in your head. The phrases are, may I be happy, may I be healthy, and may I be at peace. It's important to remember that this isn't pleading or begging for these things, but rather wishing yourself well and presenting these as gifts to yourself. As you repeat these phrases, remember to gather all your attention and love behind one phrase at a time. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. Now, call to mind someone that you care about, a good friend, family member, or even a pet. When someone like this comes to mind, bring them here with you by creating a picture of them in your mind. Now silently repeat these phrases of loving kindness to them. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. And finally, expand your heart to encompass all beings everywhere, all the creatures on this planet, feeling compassion for the millions of beings that currently need love. Repeat and say to them, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. And now, as the meditation comes to a close, in your own time, slowly open your eyes. See if you can take this spirit and feeling of loving kindness for yourself and others with you throughout your day.
Yeah, we'll bring this to a finish here. Hope you liked it or enjoyed it. Um, yeah, so that was oak meditation. And then I'm wrapping up before I open it up for questions into the issue of balance. So balance much easier said than done. That's why intentionally I'm showing you this graph that shows that it's not balance is not just like something that people do naturally. It's work, and it's not just like two tips of a scale. It's a lot more complicated than that, and it's a complex operation to juggle multiple things to achieve that balance. So the balance, really, you think about it in a very simplistic formula called work, love, and play. Can be working all the time, can be playing all the time, can be socializing all the time. And one has to kind of create a bit of a balance between the three Um, and when I say work, it's not necessarily employment. Work is any task that is goal oriented, whether it's paid or not, volunteer, creative work. Love is all relationships, even making a meaningful connection with a stranger in a post office line. Then play is that's the part that is hard for adults. Adults don't know how to play. They know how to drink, to become a little more social and less anxious and able to connect. They don't know how to play like when we were kids with no goal in mind, it's just to have fun. That's why we've been inviting a lot of adults to actually play cards and kind of forget the goal and forget themselves a little bit. And there's so many others like, group play and, um, and home games that actually can really help restore this love. So to come to a little bit more towards the end to put it together in terms of personalized wellness, the 8 dimensions, weekly, monthly, yearly, and daily, balance, work, love, and play. You got your list of all the things that you can pick from to add to this activity. And most importantly is do and schedule, not just do and schedule more what makes you happy. In fact, I actually have this mug at home, but it doesn't say schedule. I added that, but it says how to do of what makes more of what makes you happy. And I think that's very important. Let me stop here for questions. And I thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, IsHak, very much for this talk. Thank you so much. Can we open it up to questions now? Who'd like to ask our doctor some questions? You kind of have to come awake after that meditation. Everybody has to wake
I
up.
know, it was profound.
Doctor, are you part of the Oak? You helped to contribute to create Oak?
No, not
No?
at all.
No.
Enthusiastic user, that's all.
Okay.
I tried tons of meditation apps, and I find click here, click there, flip this page, participate in the discussion or the dialogue. I just wanted like somewhere where I could just do one click and meditate and not have these busy screens and demands and emails and texts. So I find that one very easy. The other
How
one
long
that
have
I
you
like
been
is,
doing it?
so this one I've been using for about 3 years.
Oh,
And we've been experimenting with one that was created by UCLA called the UCLA Mindfulness app, which is really, really nice too, and the whole idea, I mean, I love loving kindness. It's more natural, but there's also like in this app and in others, a couple like is unguided meditation and some stuff for sleep to fight insomnia with meditation. It's pretty effective.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask a quick question, Dr. IsHak? Thank you so much. It was really a wonderful, really clearly laid out plan. I got a lot out of it. I'm curious how you share that with your patients or clients, people you're working with, who may be having mental health conditions, and how does it work sort of integrating the plan, that kind of a wellness plan with them and their medication? How do you help them navigate that?
Yeah, perfect. So I think that there's a couple of conflicting issues on how to apply that clinically, because most people say, we got to just start with the Abraham Maslow hierarchy of needs, right? If somebody is unable to sleep, unable to maintain a conversation, wellness sounds like more of a luxury. So we got to start by the basic. The basic is really to bring down the severity of symptoms to a degree that is manageable. And that would be whether it's depression, anxiety, hallucinations, insomnia, whatever it is. We need to bring the severity of symptoms down by 50% first. And then the next step is to work in parallel on managing symptoms and functioning and quality of life with wellness. So this doesn't have to wait until the end. This could be incorporated pretty early on once the symptoms are reduced by a good 50%. So I think that is the work, like in incorporating this in clinical work, we tend to rely more on meds to bring the severity down, but meds can give people jobs, can give people relationships, can give people any joy of living. All they do, meds, is really bringing the severity to a manageable degree. So the person now is able to float and plan and think and do the things that make them happy, you know, which they cannot do once the symptoms are kind of like overpowering them. So once we get the symptoms down by 50%, then we start to look at therapy. We start to look at future planning. We start to think about what's the purpose of life. What do you want to do with, you know, with your time? How are you going to bring joy into every moment? That's where a lot of these wellness interventions and the wellness personalized plan become almost natural. Like I don't need to impose it on anyone. I think everyone is kind of looking naturally for that. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, sure. I know there's a lot of parents on the call who are probably in a similar position as I am, and I have a son who takes pretty heavy dose of lithium to manage his bipolar disorder, and it makes it, you know, he makes him hungrier, makes it harder for him to exercise, and I feel like I'd love, you know, I hope he'll watch the recording of this. I think watching it and getting something out of it would be more helped by having a doctor help him implement that plan.
Perfect. So I think you touch also on an important piece that I might have neglected to mention, that, you know, we're all different in terms of our ability to incorporate advice. You know, some people, you give them a manual, they learn the manual and they do it. Others say, no, I just need somebody to show me how it gets done and I'll do it on my own. And others say, no, I need this person to continuously motivate me and help me. And I think the equivalent to that is the personal trainer in the gym. We've all seen that you could exercise on your own. I mean, it's all on the web, it's all on you could do all the exercise in the world on your own. But however, I can't muster that motivation to do it totally on your own. If you've had an experience with a personal trainer, it's almost the same model in mental health. There's like rapport, there's healing, there is belief in your ability, there is aspiration, there is wanting to exceed or meet their expectations, there is not want to disappoint them, there is finding them encouraging me and boosting my abilities and believing in my abilities and my shortcomings. So for that, there's actually a growing movement now with health and wellness coaches. In fact, there is a board certification for wellness coaches now that has been in effect for the last 4 years. And you can go online and look for a board certified wellness coach. You can have a session with them initial, and then you can decide how much of the frequency you need for a wellness coach to kind of like help you develop the personalized plan and maintain it.
Thanks. That's
You're
awesome.
welcome.
It's a very good explanation for having a trainer. I've often thought after 1 or 2 sessions, the person should be able to do it on their own, but you've explained the healing and the rapport between them. They're friends and they motivate them to work out.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, if you ask me deep down what's my bias, I'm always like biased to the one-on-one, you know. There isn't anything in life that gets done just by automatism. Somehow in modern life, we like believe like in this do-it-yourself model, and it actually puts undue pressure on us. Life is not meant to be navigated this way. It's meant to be navigated with, you know, people, either professionals or friends or family or somebody, you know. It's meant to be navigated and ease up the burden when it's shouldered by 2 or more people, you know.
Very good.
I have a question. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I have a question about diet. Should we all try to limit sugar? And because that's what everyone's talking about now, how bad sugar
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. So the basic formula that is, I think that the science had already established, at least in the last 5 years, it's 1, plenty of water, 2, plenty of vegetables, 3, less carbs, 4, more protein, 5, more fiber. And that's basically what it's coming down to. And so I think what happens is when we're not drinking enough water, there's like almost like a hydration state, which tends to make us more irritable and short fused. When you have a lot more carbs, you get like these kind of roller coaster moods because you swing between hypoglycemia and hyperglycemia, and all the extra stuff in hyperglycemia gets stored into additional weight, which will erode self-esteem, will interfere with like ability to physically move, in addition to like all the mood destabilizing features. And then the protein is an important piece because the protein kind of helps like almost like stop the demand for carbs. So you don't really need to do like full Atkins with high fat. If you just increase the protein to a good 40 grams a day and bring the carbs at 100 or less a day, you actually could do really well with that. And there's a lot of apps that now track this. There's one that I use now called HabitNu, HABITNU. There's many others, but you know, like it helps you log your food, log your weight. It kind of like gives you an eye opener. It's like Mint for your finances. You know, it's like an eye opener. Like you don't realize how much calories you're consuming and how much carbs you're getting until you really track it. And you don't have to track it every single day for 10 years. You just need to like, you know, do a sample of 1 week to give you a sense of where you are. And then the issue with vegetables is very important because vegetables are very filling with very little calories. We got like cucumbers and lettuce. They should be always part of what you have in your fridge or have as a snack because it's like 15, 20 calories, you know, and it's pretty filling. And then at the end, the fiber. So fiber, a lot of people take fiber pills, and that's not a very good idea. The fiber pills tend to disturb the stomach. Try to look for natural foods that already have built-in fiber, and there's nothing better than vegetables when it comes to that.
Can we have sweet tea instead of water? Can't we drink tea instead of water?
Yeah, I think tea,
lot of fluid.
definitely herbal tea. Yeah, even a little caffeine tea. You know, my favorite is Earl Grey, but I have to like not overdo it.
My
But yeah,
favorite's Earl Grey too. Me too. Yeah.
How about,
Yeah.
how do you feel about
But
Arnold Palmer's?
Oh, wow.
No,
You know, I think it's a matter of moderation too. Like, I don't think any of these things can really hurt you unless you're like doing it exclusively. A lot of people love seeds. Let's say, you know, some flower seeds, which are full of fibers, is a problem because they are like also full of calories. And so they definitely would be helpful, but I wouldn't overdo more than half a cup. You know, seeds tend to be very good for fiber, but it becomes like fiber pill if you overdo it. It like makes your stomach like uneasy.
And can't we have a little chocolate every night? A little dark chocolate? Come on.
Only you, Sharon. Only you, Sharon.
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit. Come on, give us a break.
Yeah, dark chocolate for sure. I think the break you need is on the milk chocolate, which I think it's a healthy thing. Once a week, like sometimes you need like your off day, not off like going off, but like an off day where you like, it's okay to like engage a little bit in things that are normally pleasurable. Because what happens, we all know this, like once you get into deprivation, you're gonna go on a rebound. And that's like what you don't want to have. So I think a little bit of a cheesecake here and there, milk chocolate here and there won't be very hurtful. I think the key is how am I balancing that? Am I going for a walk? Am I going to like, am I doing other things to kind of neutralize those extra effects?
I thought we were only supposed to have dark chocolate, no milk chocolate.
Moderation. So like once a week, we definitely won't hurt you. But you know, because the reason for that is like, remember milk chocolate, I mean, a small quarter of Cadbury, which is one of my favorites, one of those squares is 200 calories already. I mean, and it's like half of it is, even 3/4 of it is fat. So get a couple of squares like this once a week, not gonna kill me. But if I get like a whole Cadbury every other day, that's not going to look pretty.
Yes, Grace, do you have a
Yes,
question?
hi.
Hi,
I
Grace.
do. I'm sorry. I was a little late and you might have already addressed this, but I was wondering, is it better to do it in the morning or at night? Because I tend to be more able to meditate at night, but then I feel like to do it in the first thing in the morning is to start off my day, well, but
Yeah.
it just, I feel like it's counterintuitive.
Yeah. So I think the studies were not very clear on that. I think they just say meditation once a day. Yet most people try to start their day on the right footing by doing meditation early on in the day. So you wake up in the morning, you do your little habits, brush your teeth, you like do your to-do list, you think about how the day is going to go, look on the schedule, maybe plan something. And then before you dive into things, I think meditation is a great thing before you start diving into things. And I think the range is 5 to 15 minutes. There are people who do more. I've gone to meditations that lasted for 45 minutes. And I think that meditation also has been debated about whether you should do it by yourself or you should have like an instructor, because in the original technique, it has been done by an instructor, back to the one-on-one healer, therapist / kind of personal trainer, if you will. So I would say if we're doing it from an app like Oak, my advice would to do it like in the morning before you dive into activity, so you can still don't have to do it first, second in the morning. I think before you dive into your full day, before you get driving or before you tackle your tasks, it's nice to do that. And a minimum of 5 minutes would do the trick if you do it on a regular basis. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions? Any other questions?
A question.
Yes.
Which app was the 5-minute journal on?
It's actually called 5-Minute Journal app.
Oh, okay.
It's a paid app, but also is those 5 points. You find them everywhere on the internet. I'm grateful for. Let me rewind the slides so that you can. I actually have them on my notes file, so that this way it would be actually easier for me to copy and paste the 5 phrases. You could also use the app. The app is probably better because the app will keep track of all your progress.
Or you could just write. You could write in a notebook that you're keeping.
You're
in a
just writing
journal.
it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you this
a little more
handout. I have a PDF of this slideshow, so you'll see it all in the slideshow. You don't have to like write it down. You can take it from there.
Thank you. So any other last questions?
Where could we access the recorded video?
On our website, www.namila.org. There will be a YouTube on that website of Dr. IsHak's talk.
Thank you.
We'll be there. And all the other previous talks we've had are there too. We've had some very interesting talks the last couple of years. So welcome, Grace.
Oh, thank you.
I've met you before, but welcome.
Thank you.
So do we have any last question?
Where do you find that again, Sharon?
www.namila.org. Our website is namila.org.
Okay.
You find all of our speaker meetings, our support group meetings, I'm starting a family-to-family class October the 4th. All the things that we do are on that website all the time.
Okay.
Okay, go to the website and don't.
So if you look in the chat box, Mitt, there's also the link there.
Okay.
So that's our speaker series link, and you can navigate the rest of the website when you get there.
Yeah,
Also,
right
if
there.
you just Google NAMI WLA and YouTube, that will also pop up. But
Oh, YouTube.
go through the website because there's wonderful content.
Well, Dr. IsHak, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You should see Dr. IsHak at work. He's so beautifully groomed. He's so articulate. He's such a great leader of our depression study. You're getting the casual Dr. IsHak tonight.
Nice.
He's
Thank
very
you.
well spoken, and I've enjoyed so being part of the depression study with you, Dr. IsHak, the last couple of years at Cedars. And I know Garrett is here tonight, and he's part of the study too. So
Yeah, we're grateful to all
Yeah.
your contributions.
I think we're coming together again next week or something. I don't know.
Yes, yeah. We were
Yeah.
planning a meditation study. Meditation versus medication for anxiety and heart disease.
Well, I want to be part of that study for sure. And if you want any more people, please let me know. So I'd
100%.
like to thank you so much. And my whole community would like to thank you. And you will be for posterity, for everyone that comes to NAMI to listen to how to recover and empower themselves after this pandemic and take better care of themselves. So we thank you very, very much. And I'd like for Garrett, who's here, who's also worked with Dr. IsHak in this depression study, just to tell us who the next speaker is on narrative therapy, the first Wednesday in October. Garrett, could you just tell everyone his name? And narrative therapy is about, we all tell ourselves stories which contribute to or the choices we make in our life. And we can shift that narrative and we can shift it and get a little bit of a different perspective. So we make different choices. So what's the name of our speaker, Garrett?
The name of the speaker is John Tatelman.
John Tatelman, who's a professor at Antioch University.
That's right. And narrative therapy is a newer therapy. And it's just fascinating how it helps people. They aim to separate the problem from the person. It's just fascinating. And it was one of my favorite classes when I was in graduate school at Antioch. And this is the professor that taught me's colleague that he's sending. It really is going to be something exciting.
Well, thank you for that, Garrett. Thank you. And thank you, staff, and Aaron and Tim and all the NAMI people and Janis for your contributions to NAMI Westside Los Angeles.